Hey man, welcome to the Super Divorce channel. If you think you're gonna like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up now. And if you're digging it here, go ahead and subscribe. Just make sure you bong the gong for notifications so you know when new videos go live. Now then, please look forward to this video. Enjoy, chefs. Hey man, welcome back to the Super Divorce channel. Nicholas Villars here, aka Super Divorce. I play music. I am creating a proudly comic skate comic book, and today we're going to be taking a look at what you see there over in the magic frame. This is the Super Sentai Himitsu Sentai Gorenger manga. Picked this up at the local comic shop several weeks ago, and I finally got around to reading it today. And that's why I wanted to get on and make a video while it was fresh in my mind and tell you a little bit about this. We're going to examine the inside of it. There are multiple stories included from two different timelines, if you will. Two different Himitsu Sentai Gorenger series done in manga form. This is the classic manga by Shotaro Ishinomori. And when you open up this book, which is a fantastic product in and of itself, it's hardbound. This will look fantastic on your bookshelf, and in my opinion, it's a steal at $24.99. So what I'm going to do for you is open this up, and there's a nice introduction here that I would like to read to you because it primed me for my experience when I read this. Another thing before we get started, I'm not going to go through this panel by panel, of course. I would be here for 12 hours or something explaining every panel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to get us out of here in an hour, okay? This is a big book, and what I've seen on YouTube, a bunch of 5, 8, 10-minute videos on this thing. I don't think that's enough time. So I'm going to go in depth with you. I'm going to leave the big surprises to the imagination, the cliffhangers, so that you have a reason to go out and read this for yourself, because this video is not supposed to replace the experience. It's supposed to get you excited to go out and pick up the damn thing for yourself. So, let me read you the introduction. Okay? Who is Shotaro Ishinomori? Who is it? Born in Japan in 1938, Shotaro Ishinomori is known as one of the most important manga artists of all time. A skilled artist ever since he was a child, Ishinomori was inspired early on by the works of Osamu Tezuka. You know Osamu? Heard of that guy? Maybe you've heard of Astro Boy. Osamu is he's known as perhaps the greatest manga artist of all time. Ishinomori was inspired by Tezuka-san. He made his debut, did Ishinomori, as a professional manga artist while still in high school. Later, Ishinomori went on to create such influential titles as Kikaida, Kamen Rider. Remember Kamen Rider? There was a Kamen Rider series on in the 90s here in the States. It was on Fox Kids. Aired around the same time Power Rangers did. I never watched that one. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't know that the creator of this was the creator of that. Continuing on, back to the book. Ishinomori also created Cyborg 009 and Himitsu Sentai Gorenger, which would launch the long-running Super Sentai franchise and was later adapted into, the Power Rangers. Although Ishinomori passed away in 1998, he holds the Guinness World Record for the most comics published by one author. Think of that. Out of all comics published by all authors across all times, this guy, the creator of Super Sentai, which went on to create the Power Rangers, holds the record for most comics published ever. That's a good piece of trivia to hold on to. While Tezuka is known as the godfather of manga, the creator of Astro Boy, Ishinomori is often referred to in Japan as the king of manga and remains one of the most influential figures in Japanese pop culture. Tokusatsu and the Henshin boom, it says. You know about this? You guys heard about this? Henshin boom back in the news. Though he started his career in manga, some of Ishinomori's most iconic works began as tokusatsu productions. That means special filming. It refers to a film genre that utilized live-action performance with special effects built upon methods used in kabuki theater and puppetry. This genre was crystallized with Godzilla in 1954, which was so popular it caused what is known as the monster boom. Lots of those types of movies during the monster boom. People love that shit. I love it. Who doesn't love a good monster movie? The fascination with kaiju, or giant monsters, in film. That's what the monster boom's all about. Ishinomori expanded upon the genre further with the creation of Kamen Rider in 1971, which set off the second monster boom, also known as the Henshin, or transformation boom. Heroes transforming. Kamen Rider was a grasshopper-masked motorcycle-riding superhero who took on supervillains to save the day in the struggle of good versus evil. The show was a success, leading to more Kamen Rider TV series and several cross-series team-ups. Viewers wanted more. So Ishinomori created a tokusatsu show based around a team of heroes, Himitsu Sentai Gorenger. Here's where this comes into play. Unlike many of Ishinomori's prior creations, the heroes of Himitsu Sentai Gorenger were regular humans. Their powers derived from the advanced technology of their battle suits and helmets. Now, that is not quite accurate. It's kind of, we're going to talk about it more as we get into it. I didn't know about this. It's pretty interesting. Stick around. I'm not arguing with the book itself, by the way. This I'm calling out something in the introduction that was written, because I think that describing it that way, they're missing a little something. They're missing a sprinkle, and we'll get there. Just keep that in mind. Tuck that away for a second. Ishinomori took pains to keep the characters' designs simple while conveying their individuality with distinct color-coded outfits and visor shapes. They stood out on the new color television screens of the 1970s as well, and this was something that had not been seen before up to this point. You couldn't very well differentiate between various colors and costumes prior to the color television set coming into people's homes in that era. But since everyone wanted one, you started seeing these television sets all over the place. Everyone had to go out and get one. It's like when flat screens first came out, or now 8K televisions. Everyone wants the newest thing. He had the foresight and the mental prowess, the writing capacity to take full advantage of that. And he did it. It was a conscious thing that he did, and it's so smart, because what do you know about the Power Rangers today? Each one is a different color. He established that way back then. And if not for color television, that whole concept, it wouldn't have mattered so much. The story of the manga. Now here you go. Talking about this book now. Ishinomori was first and foremost a prolific manga creator, so when the Himitsu Sentai Gorenger TV series went live in 1975, Ishinomori created manga to run concurrently with the show. You know what that means? It's like the exact opposite of what happens now, where so many writers today think of comic books and comic series as a stepping stone. They'll put themselves through it. They'll try to get the comic out there. They hope it's successful enough that they can land a TV deal. Do you think that there are many creators, many writers out there today who, if they could go straight to Netflix with an idea, would then bother writing a comic book about their idea? Turning the show that's already been greenlit into a comic book after the fact. It's mind-blowing today, unfortunately, because the medium is... it's shit on the bottom of someone's damn sneaker in the minds of so many mainstream artists now. Mainstream creators, if you want to call them that. Mainstream hucksters. That's not Ishinomori, though. He made his show. He was writing a bunch of these shows. He had the ideas. He was the idea man. He was also a fantastic manga artist. And he took the idea from TV and said, I want to do a manga of this too. Because I love my manga. I love creating them. And we're gonna do it. So he did. He wrote and drew 2 manga versions for 2 different audiences. The first part of this collection, right here, the first part, I told you it was split up. The first part features the manga that was originally serialized in Weekly Shonen Sunday. It follows the same storyline as the TV series, although there are some differences between the versions, they say. The second part of this volume contains the monthly serial that ran in Shogakukan's Shogaku Gonensai, that means 5th grader, magazine in 4 installments. These stories differ from the first half of the book in tone, focusing more on spy action and suspense. That's very apparent in one of the stories in the second half, because they never even change into their super-powered forms. It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo almost. So a bit different tone, a bit different tone. Together, both parts comprise the very first appearances of the Super Sentai franchise in manga form. Over the span of decades, appreciation for the Super Sentai series has grown into a global fan base. We all know that. However, these original stories have been unavailable in English until now. It is our pleasure to bring Ishinomori's classic Himitsu Sentai Gorenger to the English-speaking world. And it is my pleasure to tell you about it today. And that takes us to the beginning of the artwork and everything that we're going to get into just now. The story and the origins. If you have ever in your life been a fan of the Power Rangers, even if you've never gotten into the Super Sentai stuff, if you've never even read manga before, you owe it to Shotaro Ishinomori to sit down, put your feet up, maybe you crack open an ice cold beer, unbutton your pants, and see what he's got for you. Because without this, no Power Rangers. At least without the Super Sentai. I suppose he could have made the series and never done a manga, and maybe Power Rangers would have come around still. I don't know, but come on, man. Give it up. Himitsu Sentai Gorenger Weekly Shonen Sunday version. Originally ran in Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday from May 4th, 1975, which was issue 18, ran from then through August 10th, 1975, which was issue 32. This right here is who is eventually going to become the Red Ranger, or the Aka Ranger. His name is Kaijo Tsuyoshi, and he's hanging out right here with his lady friend Yoko. You ever have this happen where you get a package, you pick up a package dropped off on your front porch, and drat. It's for someone else in the family. Everyone knows that feeling. But this box arrives for someone else. It's for his father. So he takes it over, drops it off. He does a little training, goes and gets himself cleaned up because him and Yoko are going to go out for the movies. They're going to go see a nice movie. Once he's gotten dressed, getting ready to leave the house, Tsuyoshi, come here. His father's calling to him. He goes and meets his dad in the dojo. It's like, Dad, I was getting ready to take Yoko to a picture show. Can we do this later? Can it wait? The movie can wait, son. This cannot. I want you to try this on for me. And there's a pile of clothes, some boots, a suit, and this helmet sitting on the floor right here. Imagine that. You're getting ready to take your lady friend out on a date, and your pop calls you in. Hey, nope, movie can wait. I need you to try this costume on for me. You're like pretty much a grown man. I don't know exactly how old Tsuyoshi is here, but he looks like he's at least a senior in high school. And his dad's, nope, not doing the movie tonight. You're going to try this costume on for me. He's like, fine. This looks like it's from a cartoon. What is this? It's got a cape and a mask. But he opens the helmet up, and there's some doodads and hickory doos on the inside. What is all this? What are you having me try on, Dad? You put it on, and then his dad tells him, you are Aka Ranger, or Red Ranger. What? And then, as soon as he says that, a bunch of bad guys, somehow, waiting in the wings, jump in. What is happening? These guys seem to have been waiting for him to suit up. And then they descend upon him. He whoops ass, takes him out. One guy across the pond here outside has Yoko. He's got her by the face and the neck. He's got a shank. He's getting ready to do something bad. Tsuyoshi jumps down into the pond, and he realizes when he does this, he can breathe underwater. So this is not your normal suit or mask. Something extra is going on here. And he jumps up out of the water, sploosh, takes out the bad guy who was holding his girlfriend hostage, continues beating some ass, and then his father stops him and he's like, it was a test. This was all a test. You passed, but it was a test. These guys, all the bad guys, they take their masks and their hoods off, and you find out they're pupils of his father's. They actually train at the same dojo that his father owns. And they've trained against Tsuyoshi before. And they're kind of surprised because they're like, well, he's okay, but in the past I've always been able to take that kid. Now he's whooping up on us? What the shit, man? His father then explains to him, behind the scenes, you're not going to learn about this in school. You're not going to hear about it on the nightly news. There's this group. There's a secret society called the Black Cross Army. And they are worldwide, man. They are getting into shit everywhere. They are stealing government secrets from countries all over the world and then selling them to the highest bidder. It's like most of the time they're selling those secrets back to the countries they stole them from. But if they were not to do that, or if a country declined their offer to pay, then some world government secrets could fall into the wrong hands, and that would just be awful. They are also responsible for sometimes setting countries against each other, starting wars. These are bad hombres, this Black Cross Army. Luckily, there is a white hat group, if you will. There's another group behind the scenes called Eagle, stands for Earth Guard League, and they are fighting back. They are pushing back against the Black Cross Army. And his father happens to be a member of Eagle. And Eagle has, at least in Japan, in their district, they have come up with this superpowered team to fight back against the Black Cross Army. And his father has volunteered his son, Tsuyoshi, to be the Red Ranger in this group. His buddy, actually, is the one who created this mask and this suit, this superpower giver, if you want to say that. We'll get to that later. But his buddy, a former scientist, now a guy who owns a local curry house, still fighting behind the scenes. And that's where this mask and suit were sent from the local curry house. So there you go. He's laid it out for his son. And Tsuyoshi he's a bit concerned upon hearing all this. Pretty groundbreaking stuff. You wouldn't know exactly how to take that if your dad sprung that upon you. It's like, what about Yoko? What about her? Because she was here. If you planned all this, if you set all this up, did she know that this was going on? And then he has to break that news to him. He's like, well, yeah, actually, she did know. She works at the curry house. Didn't you know that, son? Don't you know where your girlfriend works? She works at the curry house. She's one of the waitresses there. And yeah, she works for Eagle too, and she knew all about it. She helped me set this whole thing up. Well, Tsuyoshi does not like this. His world's been shaken. He feels like he's been duped. He feels like probably like a pawn in a game of chess. And he blows his top and he says, you got to be kidding me, Dad. You have got to be kidding me. This is, come on. Rah. Look at him. Rah. One thing I love about manga is you very rarely are left scratching your head wondering, how does this character feel in this moment? Something they do fantastically. They're not afraid to go above and beyond, to get a little silly sometimes, to make sure the reader knows how this character feels in this moment. Western comics, having some trouble with that lately. Haven't always. Lately, you pick up a random issue of whatever from one of the big two. You don't really know what people are feeling. It's a lot of stone faces. A lot of faces that are from way too far away. Set too far away from your line of sight. And you're just left wondering, how does that person feel? Their face is like this big. Their face is like the size of like a tip of a needle. How am I supposed to know what that character is feeling right now? I do a lot of that shit. What's going on there? It's not like you can never do those shots, but in key moments, you got to do this. You got to let people know how the character's feeling. And they do that damn well. Tip of the cap. Now, back to the issue. Tsuyoshi says, nope, you don't have the right to decide my future for me. I'm not joining your stupid team. I'm not wearing this stupid costume. And you and your dumbass secret war games, go blow it out your ass, Dad. And he leaves. And his dad is left all alone in the dojo, sitting there, contemplating what's just happened. The mask is down here, so you know it's not like Tsuyoshi said, oh, I don't want to be a part of this, but he secretly took the costume and the mask because he thought it was cool. He left it there. He means business. He's like, I'm not doing it. Like I said, blow it out your ass. His father comes out of the dojo. All of his pupils are waiting there. They certainly heard the explosion. They certainly heard the blow up and the fight, and they know exactly what's going on, but they still have to ask, oh, how'd it go? You ever had that situation happen? You're over at a friend's house, and maybe the friend and his lady friend are getting into a row in another room, and you're just sitting there watching TV or looking at your phone, you have to act like you don't hear it, of course, because they're trying to be discreet, but their voices are raising, and you know what's happening. You know they're in a fight. You know it's not good, but then they walk out. Oh, so what are we going to do? Do you want to go get some burgers? Well, so more bad news for Father. He takes a few steps out and he collapses. And then all of his students collapse, dead. And you find that there were some bad guys waiting in the wings with, I think they were like poisoned darts that were shot at all these people. And they were poisoned, and no one was there to stop them. Of course, Tsuyoshi was long gone. And, well, it seems like a chapter of the Eagle team has been taken out. The next time that Tsuyoshi gets to see his father is here at the cemetery. And he has his kind of Peter Parker, Uncle Ben moment where he shunned the responsibility. He acted like he was too good for it. But now he realizes the right thing to do, the way to honor his father's memory, is to finish what his father started. He knows, I'm sure in the back of his mind, if he wouldn't have left that day, maybe he would have walked outside and he could have kicked some ass and saved everyone. But he didn't do that. He wanted to go to the movies. And I hope it was a good movie, Tsuyoshi. So there's no big intro to the team. It's not like they all go and get pizza with each other and hang out and shit. They're not doing anything like that. They don't go and play Parcheesi or Tiddlywinks together. There's no long drawn out section of the book where you see them bonding. It's pretty much like he decides to take the job and then bam, they're right in the shit. They're getting to it. They're getting to work. And they're getting to work by flying in this craft, this huge airship. They call it the Varibloon. I don't know what that means, but that's the name of it. Varibloon. V as in Victor, Ariblune. The Varibloon. The Varibloon. They're taking the Varibloon. This guy right here is kind of like their Zordon. He is the one who owns the curry house that also acts as their secret base. Go through the back door of the curry house, they go down this long elevator, and you're in the secret base, kind of like the command center. There's no Alpha. He would be like the Zordon and Alpha character in one, if we're comparing to Power Rangers, if that's what you're more familiar with. And they call him Uyaji-san, which is a kind of generic term for father, or they can also use it for a proprietor of a business. That's how he's referred to in this book. Uyaji-san. So, they're flying in the Varibloon. And Uyaji-san is leading them. He has corralled them together. And they've got an extra fella on board the Varibloon. This guy's name is Goro. Mochizuki Goro. He is an old classmate, an old high school friend of the Blue Ranger. And Goro is also a mountain climber. When he was climbing the mountains one day, near an old abandoned kind of ghost town, he noticed some people milling about, moving around, and he then spotted a flag. And he noticed that flag happened to be the Black Cross Army's flag. And so he took that intel to his buddy, one of the Rangers, the Blue Ranger, and they used that to set up this mission. So now they're going to fly out near this supposedly abandoned village, and they're going to hopefully surprise attack the Black Cross Army in this one location and maybe take out one of their bases. So that's the mission they're on here. Now, as they're flying, you get finally an introduction, proper introduction to each member of the team. Right here, Ka-Click says, I'm Gorenger, Uiwa Daita. Daita. That is your Yellow Ranger. Gorenger. Miro Ranger, right there. He's a bit small. By the way, I didn't mention this. The Yellow Ranger, he is your fatso of the team. He provides the comic relief. He's always hungry. He's always eating. He's kind of stupid. Miro Ranger, he is the Green Ranger. His name is Asuka Kenji. And he's a little short guy. And he's always telling riddles and stuff. These two, the Yellow and Green Ranger, they have a little dynamic. Of course, with Asuka, or the Green Ranger, always telling riddles, he's usually directing them at the Yellow Ranger, who is kind of dumb. And he'll be like, oh, well, I just can't figure it out because I haven't eaten enough. And then he has to shovel more food in his face, and the team's laughing at him. And very inappropriate for today, I'm sure, but it's humorous. It's fun. It's lighthearted. Ka-Click, I'm Momo Ranger, Peggy Matsuyama. This is the Pink Ranger. I like that her visor shape is a heart. That's an easy way to tell that she's the lady on the team. Also, her frame, but that's clever. I like that move right there. And then there is Aka Ranger. We know him. That's Kaijo Tsuyoshi. So they've been introduced. Everyone except Shinmi Akira. That is Goro's friend. And he is off doing something else right now. Somewhere else on the ship. And that would also be the Blue Ranger, if you will. So they've all introduced themselves. The readers have been introduced properly. They've had that moment of mask on, mask off, meet the person behind the mask. Thumbs up. We're moving along. So here comes the Verballoon through the air. Now, let me say this. This is the first time in the book that... maybe it's the first time. It's the first one that really stuck out to me. I'll say that. Where you go from this kind of stuff where it's very comic strippy, stuff you're used to seeing maybe in the back of the Sunday paper. That's not knocking it. I love it. I love the illustrations and the style. But just not a whole lot of extra work put into the backgrounds. It's really character focused, reaction focused. Showing the emotion involved and so on and so forth. When you get to a page like this, it shows you, oh shit, yeah. Ishinomori is not fucking around. When he wants to, he's going to hammer out a page like this, and you are reminded this dude is a badass artist as well. And there are multiple pages like this throughout the book. I love all of them. They come in, they break it up a little bit, and they remind you that, yeah, you're seeing these characters interact with each other, and it's all fun and games, but there's dire shit going on behind the scenes. And pages like this bring you back to that. They ground you a bit. So this shows you, yeah, you've got a spaceship, whatever, sky ship. It's flying through the air. It's coming to this dark village. It's nighttime. There are bad people around. Sobering. So they land nearby this village. The Rangers get off the ship and they leave Oyaji-san and Goro, the informant, behind. And everyone's heading off to track down the bad guys in this village. They creep in. It's too quiet. It's one of those moments where, hey, it's too quiet around here. Something's not right. And that is because they are being ambushed. Somehow these guys knew that the Rangers were on their way. And they're coming in on horseback. These are kind of like your generic fighters, your generic bad guys. Kind of like the putties. It's neat how these archetypes that you see in this manga are still carried through like every Ranger series that I've ever seen to the present day. They've all got their own version of the putties. They've all got their Rangers. They've all got their version of Zordon, which you can take all the way back to this, which would be Oyaji-san, the guy who owns the curry restaurant. It's pretty neat that these things remain consistent even from Sentai to Power Rangers, when they could have, scrapped just about everything when it comes to the story, but they didn't. They've kept a lot of this stuff going, which is neat. Nice way to honor the original and honor the tradition. So not only are they fighting generic putty type soldiers, they're also dealing with tanks. There were tanks inside many of these little homes, and they come busting out. And here's another one that shows you, oh shit, it's going down. You've got these beautifully drawn tanks coming at the Ranger team, standing by this tree in the middle of the town, and it's a fight to the finish, man. It's wild. They're really going at it here, and a lot of beautifully drawn pieces throughout this action sequence, throughout this battle. This guy right here, he's kind of like the mini boss, or the main boss of this particular fight they're having. It's not like he is the head of the Black Cross Army or anything, but as far as this fight goes, this is the dude kind of running the show. And he's like a samurai, an evil samurai guy riding a flying metal horse that breathes fire. This is maybe one of my favorite shots throughout the entire book. And it's a thick boy. But I just love this. It's very cinematic. And when contrasted, again, with so many of the panels that are lighthearted and fun and just make you feel like you're reading a comic strip, you throw stuff like this in here, and it really provides some cool variation and dynamics. So, can't praise that enough. More great action sequences, action shots. Here's some hand-to-hand combat between the Red Ranger. You can tell it's the Red Ranger, by the way, because he's got this, I think it's kind of like an eagle, like eagle wings, instead of a number. All the other Rangers have a number. We'll talk about that in a second, but I wanted to point that out in case you were wondering. How do you know it's the Red Ranger? Well, the shape of his mask too, like his visor, but then also that. The Red Ranger is the only one that does not have a number on his helmet. So, back on the ship, by the by, this has happened. In case you hadn't put it together, in case you didn't figure it out for yourself, Goro, Shinmei, aka the Blue Ranger's old high school buddy, he is a turncoat. He is an informant. He works for the Black Cross Army. And he set him up good. And he's got Oyaji-san alone. And he tells him his plot. Tells him that, yeah, your Rangers are probably done for. They were so outnumbered. They are so fucked. It's over, man. You might as well pack it in. But look at this. Oyaji-san delivers a fantastic right hand. Look at that. Pow. Dag. Dag. And then he goes flying through the air. The Rangers come back aboard the ship, and Oyaji-san's got Goro on the ground. He's got his damn hands around his neck, choking him out. Lets him know this dude's a spy. So Goro, the spy, the turncoat, the Benedict Arnold, if you will, escapes off the ship, and Shinmei, aka the Blue Ranger, he's like, let me go after him. This is my old buddy. I want to be the one to track this guy down and see what the hell is going on with him. Because we're friends. This is one of my best friends. I've got to find out why he did this. So he finally catches up to him, and his old buddy, Goro, pulls a gun out. He's like, you're a fool. A naive, sentimental fool. And I'm not going to go into the details of how this altercation ends because I didn't see it coming, and it's pretty heavy. Definitely, I used the word sobering before. This is a sobering encounter where you're like, shit, I didn't expect anything that heavy to be in this Sentai manga, seemingly geared towards very young kids. I have a feeling you wouldn't see anything like this come out for kids today. And that's unfortunate because I think they can handle it, but it's uncommon and it caught me off guard. And I hope that you will check it out so you can see how this wraps up. Anyway, when it does wrap up, the Blue Ranger jumps up on the ladder that they have thrown down for him from the Verabloon, makes his way back on board, and they fly off into the night. So I also didn't tell you how the fight with the samurai guy ended. You're going to have to read it to find out that as well. Didn't want to give that away. 2 little cliffhangers. Hopefully you'll remember that and be like, those are, so far, 2 things I need to figure out what the resolution is. How do those resolve? Hope you'll look into it. Now, back at base, back at the curry shop. They're either at the curry shop or they're still on the Verabloon. I'm not for certain here. The Yellow Ranger is sitting next to the Green Ranger. Like I said, they have a lot of interactions throughout the book. But the Yellow Ranger is wondering, how exactly is it that squeak, 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 as they're cleaning all the helmets, and you get these close-ups of the helmets to remind you of what the conversation's about. How is it that we all have numbers on our helmets, but the Red Ranger doesn't? Why does he have this? Why does he have the wings and the vertical line? And what is that? What's going on? Does he have different powers than we do? And no. The way it works is Oyaji-san, the proprietor of the curry house, created the Red Ranger's mask first, before any of the others. He created this one. And once he got that one working, once that was all set, he used that template to create the others. And so he marked it differently. And he didn't want to use a number. He wanted something to signify the fact that this is the first one. This is like the ace. And all the others come down the line from it. They're all equal in function. They all have the same exact powers. But I'm going to differentiate the Red Ranger's helmet from the others because it came before them. And so that's why, in case you were wondering, just like the Yellow Ranger was wondering, there's your answer. Now, also, a further explanation of how the power works. Here's the Green Ranger. He's showing you that no matter how hard he tries to lift this dumbbell without his helmet on, it doesn't work. So the power doesn't come from the suit. The power comes from the helmet, kind of. He can easily lift up this barbell or this dumbbell when he has the helmet on. And there it is, hoist. He hoists it up. I love when they do that. Hoist, because you're literally hoisting. Grab, because you're literally grabbing someone. That's always a fun thing to do in comics. And now he can even juggle them. See, it's no big deal. His power is increased exponentially. Totally different ball game. The Blue Ranger weighs in and lets us know this is something called Instantaneous Force. You ever heard of this? Well, it's similar to what happens when, like in this picture, there's a burning house. And for some reason, the mother has decided to put the baby and the family dog and other articles inside of a chest of drawers and lift this item that she should not be able to lift. Maybe you've heard stories where a car has flipped over and the mother was thrown clear and there's a baby inside and she had to lift it herself and like turn it over, pull someone out. a feat of strength that she would never be able to do outside of this dire, dire situation. That is basically what's going on when the Rangers put on their helmets. It is the unlocking of potential. So it's not necessarily that the helmet is magical or that it bestows powers upon the Rangers. What it does is it interfaces with them in a way that unlocks the potential of their mind and body, which I thought was a cool explanation. It's not something I expected. It's not something that I ever really considered. You think, at least concerning Power Rangers or modern variations, it's like the Morpher. The Morpher bestows powers upon them. It doesn't. You don't think of it as these powers are latent in the Rangers, and then all the Morpher does, or all the helmet in this case does, is sort of unplugs the dam and allows these latent energies and powers to flow freely, and for the Rangers to be able to use them. And I thought that was a pretty neat thing to throw in there. Fairly unconventional way of looking at superhero powers and what you would commonly consider kind of magical or technological enhancements. It's like these powers are right there. Theoretically, the Rangers could figure out how to use them on their own. You would think there'd be some way to do that. Which might be something cool to explore in the future. I don't know. Maybe they came back to it, maybe not, but it makes you think. All right? Moving on. Their second mission. This is still within the continuity of the first series. Okay? Still within the continuity of the first series. This big-ass Loch Ness monster-ish thing comes out of the water. This is like the Black Cross Army's newest attempt to cause trouble. It comes out, it starts crashing through the city. Alarm goes off, letting the Rangers know that they've got trouble on their hands. They're going to go after. They're going to have to go and figure out how to stop this thing. So as they're tracking it from the sky in the Verballoon, they realize this thing's going in a straight line. It's going straight towards something. It's not zigging and zagging. It's not going this way and that. Where the hell is this thing going? They look on their map and they find out it's headed towards a particular sort of R&D facility. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on that because, again, I like to leave some details for you to discover on your own time. They're trying to slow it down a little bit. They're blasting it. They're doing this and that. Nothing's working. It starts to come apart, but they realize we didn't blast it apart. This thing is coming apart of its own accord. Its neck disassembles and pieces of it start flying through the air at very high speeds. These spikes come out of it and they're zipping around going this way and that. This bad guy watches on from inside of the metal Loch Ness monster, whatever we want to call it. He's mad at the Gorenger team, wants to take them down. Clearly some baddie from the Black Cross Army. And that goes on for a minute. Long story short, these spinny blade deals, they can't catch the Verballoon. The Verballoon can't blow those up, so you're at a stalemate. They come back together, reassemble the neck of the damn thing, and then there's a face-off in front of the R&D facility. And how that ends, I am also going to leave up in the air. You will have to check that out to see, because that's pretty much the end of this first series. Okay? So there you go. Did it end well or horribly for the Gorenger team? You're going to have to find out for your damn self. All right? Next up, we move on to the second series. This is the one aimed at the 5th graders. This is Himitsu Sentai Gorenger Shugaku Gonensai. This, let's see, it ran originally from April 1975 through July 1975. A little bit different target audience. These are split up into directives. basically 4 different stories, 4 different directives, whatever you want to call it. The first one is called Rally Under the Gorenger Flag. Begins with a different location being lorded over by a different bad guy from the Black Cross Army, declaring that another branch of the Eagle Japan bloc had been eliminated. We've got the Hokkaido branch gone. The Tohoku branch gone. The Kansai branch gone. Kyushu branch gone. And this is how we're introduced to Tsuyoshi this time. There is no, I want to go to the movies, dad calls him in. None of that happens in this series. Establishing a brand new continuity, a brand new timeline, if you will. This does not continue the one we just went over. This is a new start. There are many similarities. The characters look the same. They have the same names, but the story plays out a bit differently. You're going to notice right off the bat, like I said, Tsuyoshi, there may be a few panels before this one I'm showing you right now where he's playing football, and then he comes back to the area where the dojo is, and he finds his father's students or pupils, they've been killed, and then his father has been run through with a sword. And his father's last words are basically giving him directions to the curry house. He's pointing him in that direction, then he points him literally to the dojo, to a box inside of which is the Aka Ranger's helmet and his suit and a blaster. So he picks that up, and you can see here Kanto branch eliminated. So whoever set this up has reported back to the Black Cross Army that the father's been taken out, all of his pupils have been taken out, but they forgot about his son. Seemingly. So Tsuyoshi, he takes all the shit, he begins walking towards the curry house where his dad told him to go, and realizes he's being followed. So he's not going to go in right now because he doesn't know what's in there. He doesn't want to bring these people in with him. He's going to keep walking by himself for a bit. Finally, the bad guys reveal themselves, and they want to know where he's going. They want to know what he's up to. They're accusing him of being an Eagle operative. He doesn't even know what the Eagle team is. He doesn't know about any of this shit going on behind the scenes because, as I mentioned, this is a different continuity. So in this timeline, his father never got to tell him about any of that stuff. He got killed before he could do that. So Tsuyoshi is thrown for a loop here. It's like, what are these people talking about? What is Eagle? What is Black Cross Army? He doesn't know about any of it. He's just trying to put the pieces together on his own. But the bad guy in charge whips out his gun, and he's like, quit playing dumb with me, kid. I don't have time for this shit. However, from somewhere in the distance, an arrow flies through the air, stabs this guy right through the bone. That's a good shot. That is a good shot. I like this right here. Right through the bone, he drops his gun. And who is it? It's the Gorenger team. And they tell the bad guy, we know exactly where he was going, but we're not telling you. Instead, the 4 of us are going to bust you up. And they literally bust him up. Some good action there. Some great action sequences in this book. Don't think that you've seen all the action from watching this video. Not by a long shot. I left so much out that you can look at and savor on your own time, and I implore you to do that, please. Alright, so they rescue Tsuyoshi, and they take him back to the damn curry house, down the escalator, not the escalator, the elevator. Think of that. yeah, we'll just go through the back door there and we'll take the secret escalator down. It's not as cool as a secret elevator. So they take him down the elevator into the secret lair where Oyaji-san, your Curry Zordon, is waiting. And this time, in this continuity, Oyaji-san, Curry Zordon, that's what I also like to call him. Some people call him that. I call him that. He is the one who gives Tsuyoshi the rundown and lets him know about the secret societies and lets him know about Eagle and the Black Cross Army. It's pretty much the same explanation that his father gave to him in the first series, just coming from a different person. And then this is where the team walks in, and in this series is where you meet them for the first time. Very similar to the way that it played out in the previous one, where you get the helmet comes off, the reveal, the names, all that kind of stuff. And Tsuyoshi is the last one. Only he puts the helmet on and declares himself Aka Ranger. He's joined the team, and now they're going to go save the world. So there you go. On to directive number 2. This is called the Flying Devil Ships. This little girl is out playing with her dog. This flying toy ship comes by. It drops some noxious gas. She falls asleep. It picks her up. And then the ship flies over to this guy's laboratory, or his office, whatever you want to call it. And they're holding his granddaughter for ransom. They give him the message. They say, we want the blueprints to the spaceship that you're designing. We know you have blueprints. We were going to come back for them at midnight, and if you give us the blueprints, we'll give you your granddaughter back. But in the meantime, you better not contact anyone, or else we're not giving you your granddaughter. Deal's off. So, hopping on over to the Curry house. Meanwhile, you could say all the while, this is what's happening over there. The Ranger team is getting a lesson from Oyaji-san. And in this series, this is where you find out about how the powers work, about how the helmet works. Very similar explanation once again. And he also lets the kids know why he chose them. You might wonder, why choose teenagers? Why not choose the most talented and grizzled veterans of martial arts you could find? It's because he was worried about finding a team of people with pure hearts, and knew that if he could get a team of young kids together who are also skilled martial artists, then they've got the purity on their side. They haven't been corrupted by the world. They're not all cynics and all that shit. They're not nihilistic bastards. They're going to go out and they're going to fight. They're going to be beacons of hope in the world. And that's what he wanted. And that contrasts with how they're described in the Power Rangers series. Zordon says he wanted to put together a team of teenagers with attitudes. Remember that? That's like the opposite of what Oyaji-san wanted. And I kind of think that he has the better idea. You want the purity, and you want the people who are going to be able to get the damn job done and won't be broken, won't have broken wills. So, good idea. I like that writing. Anyway, he has to break up the lesson because he gets a phone call from Usugi-kun. That is the creator of the blueprint, whose granddaughter was kidnapped. And he's like, all right, we're on it. I'm going to send my team out, and we're going to help you. Midnight rolls around. The flying ship toy comes back to collect the blueprints. And they also know that he's been in touch with the Ranger team because they've tapped his phone. So now, instead of making the trade, they're telling him to get in this vehicle, and they're going to drive him to wherever they're going to be holding his granddaughter. So he gets in, and they zoom away in the night. They head out to this lighthouse, and the Ranger team is hot on the trail. They're coming after him, and I hope to save the day. At the lighthouse, this is the bad guy that they are trying to take down. This is the Great Boat Ear Mask, because his mask literally has like boat ears. You might think that's goofy, but the good doctor knows those aren't just goofy ears. Those are remote controls, basically, that you're using to steer all these toy ships. And then the big reveal. They didn't actually kidnap old Grandpa Usugi-kun. They didn't kidnap him. They kidnapped the Green Ranger. He had gotten over there in time to make the trade to dress up like Grandpa. He just used a mask, and then he reveals himself, his true form, kicks the crap out of some bad guys, grabs the granddaughter, runs out of the damn lighthouse, and before he can board the Verabloon, Boat Ears has summoned this big-ass pirate ship. Ladies and gentlemen, what appears to be a pirate ship comes out of the water, rises up. You think maybe this is going to turn into a big-ass battle scene in the air. They zoom up to the Verabloon. They take to the sky and very quickly just destroy the damn thing. I mean, it's not much of a fight at all. And that's a pretty straightforward issue right there, or story. There's not much to conceal, though there are some panels you're going to see for the first time if you read this on your own. I didn't include all of them. But that's a pretty straightforward story. It's a kidnapping. Let's go rescue the girl who's been kidnapped and get her back on her ship, and then we'll blow them to smithereens. And that's pretty much what you get with that one. Directive number 3. Trapped in the Mirrors. This is a good story. I like this one. Tsuyoshi, he is out riding around by himself. He's cruising, making the scene, and he starts hearing a voice, like a psychically transmitted voice, telepathic, if you will. Somebody help me. I need help. Help! So he's driving. He's driving towards this voice. Seems to lead him in a particular direction. On his way, he sees this fellow on the side of the road and he stops. And this guy tells him his daughter's been kidnapped by the Black Cross Army. His daughter, who is also a psychic. And he's like, well, shit, man. I'm getting these psychic voices in my head. I bet your daughter's trying to contact me. So I'm going to follow my nose, if you will, and figure out where this is coming from, and hopefully I'll be able to rescue your daughter. So he follows the voice, leads him to this mansion, a beautifully drawn mansion, by the by, and he stops. He has a moment of hesitation before he heads into the fray, and he thinks to himself, should I contact the others? Should I let the team know what's going on? He's like, this will be easy. All I got to do is rescue this girl who's been kidnapped. And there she is. He sees her through the window. I mean, oh yeah, no problem. I can even see her. Shit, man, this is going to be no problem. So he takes off towards the window, running across the yard, and whoops, he falls down into a big ass hole inside of a mirror, like a mirror tunnel. And up the top is this guy named Mirror Mask saying, Back at the curry house, glass breaks. When you hear the glass, it's your ass. Glass breaks, some sort of canister has been thrown into the building, and our Blue Ranger runs outside. He's trying to catch whoever did this. He doesn't see anyone. Meanwhile, indoors, Momo Ranger, the Pink Ranger, she picks up the canister, she opens it up, and it's like, oh, there's a roll of film here. we should see what's on this roll of film. They put it on the projector, and there is a message from Mirror Mask and the Black Cross Army. It says, "We have captured your dear Gorenger. If you wish to save him, you will come to the following address immediately." And on film, they see their buddy down at the bottom of this damn mirror tunnel. So they make haste, head across town to this mansion. They pull up, they walk into the yard, they realize, oh, they've been set up. They were waiting for the Rangers to get there. Again, another one of those deals. Mirror Mask is watching them from up on top of this house, saying, "Feh." Walked right into the trap. He directs their attention over to the mirror tunnel. It's like, look down there. You know what's going to happen now? We're going to put some gas down there, some noxious gas, and we're going to kill your buddy before we kill you guys. What do you think of that? What's the reaction? Well, go for it. Why? Do you remember in the first story? I know that was a different continuity, different timeline, but the powers work the same. When Tsuyoshi dove underwater, he could breathe. So these masks are sort of filtration devices as well. They allow you to breathe underwater. They allow you to breathe in toxic fumes without hurting yourself. They filter out the toxic fumes. So it's fine. They're like, go for it. Nothing's going to happen. In fact, they try it. He stares at him, and he's like, oh, by the way, you also opened the door for me. So, bloop, he blasts up, literally breaking the glass ceiling. Look at that. You gotta. That's something that people could really applaud today. A comic that breaks the glass ceiling. He did it. He blasts up out of there, and now Mirror Mask is pissed off, and he's going to use his secret powers. His mask opens up, revealing a 3-paneled mirror, and a laser shoots out of it. However, they're very perceptive on this team, and one of them realizes that laser is not emanating from the mask itself. He's reflecting the sun at us in a very concentrated way. He's got a special mirror mask that is able to take the sunlight in and blast it back out like a laser. So what do? They jump up in the air and block out the sun. And again, you can find out for yourself how that conflict resolves. Not going to show you the end of that fight. I will just say that it's another one that is unusually raw for a book of this type, I would say. Now, father and daughter are reunited. You find out that she wasn't really psychic. Someone had put a microphone in the Red Ranger's helmet and transmitted this message to him. Someone from the Black Cross Army somehow did that. And they had also taken over this guy's mansion, and he played along with them because they told him if the guy didn't help the Black Cross Army try to destroy the Ranger team, then they were going to destroy his daughter. So he went along with them, and he's apologizing, and oh yeah, it's okay, whatever. Water under the bridge. Directive number 4. The Lying Robot. This is the one that I said is kind of Scooby-Doo-ish, because this issue is without transformations. They never get in their Ranger costumes or anything. And it starts off at the Takami Robotics Research Institute. This guy apparently works and sleeps there, which I thought was odd. But in the night, he wakes up, hears a noise, a door flings open, and he is trampled. And the next day, the Ranger team are brought to this research facility, and this guy who was trampled in the night looks very dejected and sad, and all of the scientists who are working with them are very sad. And why are they sad? It's because there are supposed to be a bunch of robots here in this facility, but it's empty. You see? There's nothing there. It's all gone. It's like people stormed in the night, he was trampled, and they took all the robots and left. And they're trying to figure out what happened to them. How could so many robots be taken out of here, and who did it? Probably the Black Cross Army. In fact, this scientist is like, oh, by the way, I forgot. We got this package yesterday. Let's open it up. It has a black cross on it. There's a robot inside. Looks like the robot from Lost in Space, if you remember that one. And the robot's telling them, yeah, we are the Black Cross Army. We took your robots. Okay? That's that. Back at Curry House, Tsuyoshi walks in. He's all zippity-doo-dah around. He's feeling pretty good about himself. He's like, guys, I found the stolen robots. It's all good. Believe it or not, I know where they are. We can go and get them. No big deal. So they drive on over to another big-ass mansion, beautifully drawn. And they do find the robots. They're there. Various sorts of robots. I didn't show all of them because I think that these robots are fun to look at. You might see these and you're like, oh, that's kind of neat. They kind of remind me of Mega Man bad guys. But he's drawn a nice selection of robots that you can feast your eyes upon if you pick this up for yourself, which I hope that you have decided by now that you're going to do when this video is done. Among the robots is this guy named Gear Mask. And he is a protege of Clockwork Mask of the Black Cross Army. And he is there. He is seemingly taking responsibility for what's gone down. Look how creepy he is. You would think there's going to be a big battle, but there's really not. I'll spoil that much. I was thinking to myself, looking at his design, it would have been neat if there was a moment where he might have gotten Tsuyoshi down on the ground and maybe that gear, you know, right through the middle of his dome started spinning, and you could have this tense moment where it got like really close to Tsuyoshi's his face. But that would have been neat. You could do something like that. They really don't do anything with him here. A little disappointing, because I would have liked to have seen more. Because he's very menacing in a somewhat goofy way, like an old animatronic or something. I like him. Good villain design. But what are you going to do? Now, I mentioned this is like a Scooby-Doo episode. I'm going to stop here on this one because if I go any further, it starts to just get into the unraveling of the mystery. And I will not do that for you because I would like to leave that for you to discover on your own. Because I think that's more fun. Okay? Since there aren't any big explosive scenes in this one, no drawn out battle sequences, just a minimal amount of action. The enjoyment of this story will be to see what the mystery was, solving the mystery. So I'm going to leave that one be, and you can check that out for yourself. I hope you will. All right, now one more little thing before we go. This is the team from the Super Sentai Himitsu Sentai Gorenger team from the television program. I learned a little something neat in the back of this. There's a very small sort of trivia section. The Pink Ranger right here. That's a better shot of the Pink Ranger. Let me open this up. The Pink Ranger. also known as the Momo Ranger, M-O-M-O. This comes from Momo Iro, which means pink. Momo can also be short for Futomomo. Futomomo. In Japanese, that means thigh, and is also sometimes shortened to just Momo. Now, the staff of the TV show used Momo for the name of the Ranger. They didn't say Momo Iro Ranger, they just called her the Momo Ranger because they wanted to allude to the thigh on purpose. Because the actress who played the Pink Ranger, Lisa, hold on, I've forgotten her name. That is Lisa Kumaki, was known for having very, very thick and aesthetically pleasing thighs. That's how they put it in the book. They called them aesthetically pleasing. I would say sexy. Some sexy thighs. Some nice voluptuous thighs going on. I think you will agree with me. I hope you will. Here's a couple pictures. And this is from the series, you know. Yeah. Hey, you know, a good choice. Okay? I can see why you went with the Momo, you know? If you know what I mean. You know? Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this evening. That is my video on this right here. Fantastic collection. I had fun talking about this. I had fun sharing it with you. I hope that you are inspired to go and pick this up for yourself and add this to your collection. And this is going to be a good start for me because this is the first thing that I have ever purchased, the first work from Ishinomori that I've ever picked up. And I feel like this is a great way to get yourself started. How can I say that? It's because that's what I've done. And I'm glad to have done it. And I hope to one day have a bookshelf full of his works. I don't feel like I'll run out anytime soon because, hey, Guinness World Record holder for most comics ever published by a single guy. I mean, you've got to give it up. And I hope that the artwork, if nothing else, I hope the artwork convinces you. It's a very fun book to look at. You just want to flip through cool stuff that you might want to sit down and draw for fun, do some studies on, and that type of shit. And at $24.99, a fantastic value. All right. Everyone, until next time, please make sure that you are listening to your Super Divorce on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, wherever you stream your favorite songs. Like I said, I play music. If you're a fan of bands like Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears and New Order, I think you're going to love the most recent Super Divorce album called Action Figures. You can check that out. If you want a physical copy, which, why wouldn't you? What? You only listen to music when you have the internet? What happens when it goes down? You know what I mean? Go to superdivorceme.com and pick up a CD, a cassette tape, or perhaps a vinyl record. And what I recommend you do actually is you just buy one of each and celebrate the entire catalog. I think that's the best thing to do. Just try that out. And I think that you'll find that is a fantastic idea. So pick up this book and then go to superdivorceme.com and pick up some Super Divorce music to listen to. Sub to the channel if you haven't done that. bong the gong for notifications. Like this video, please. Give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you have anything, even if it's not related to the video. Whatever you want. Tell me what you had for lunch. Tell me what you're going to do next week. Talk shit. Whatever the fuck. Go for it. The comments section is your oyster. Follow me on Twitter at TheSuperDivorce. On Instagram at SuperDivorceBand. And that's going to do it. I know I said I wanted to get you out of here in less than an hour, but I didn't want to skip over anything. I had this arranged just so, and I wanted to make sure that I gave this book its proper due. The idea was not to come in here and give you a 5-minute whatever. What are we going to do in 5 minutes with this thing? It's really good. It's a really good book, guys. Believe me. Look, come on, man. 5 minutes on this thing? Yeah. So, thanks for sticking with me if you made it through the whole thing. All right? I appreciate you. Everyone, take real good care. Keep kicking ass. Love you lots. Lord willing, I'll be back very soon with another video for you to watch. Bye-bye.
We gonna go viral with this one.